with so many businesses that you guys are doing, right? How do you manage it like on the road and being able to achieve the location freedom that you guys are looking for? I can definitely understand the travel blog, that's doable, but I would love to know like what are the processes, because it's not like easy work, right? You still have to factor in time for writing, for photography, posting, all the stuff. Agency business would definitely love to know how you do it, but the photography, I assume that is not remote. So that is something that, because you have to be on site, or unless you're traveling.
Right.
Yeah. So how does it all work?
Right. Yeah. So I look at things that I can do at home versus on the road. So I could edit photos on the road. I don't like to because I can't control the lighting, in my office space or where I am. But I'll edit photos at home. I'll take the photos on the road, like you said, travel, or if it's a wedding, I have to be in a location. So we'll plan our schedules around like when I have wedding dates first and foremost, because those are usually booked 6 months to a year out, if not a little less or a little more. And then things, a lot of it for us is like having the physical items that allow us to do our work. So like an iPad with a keyboard, we really like, because we've just found that when we travel and if we don't need our computers to open an Adobe program, Illustrator, Photoshop, what have you, or Lightroom, like we can just take an iPad and I get so much writing done when I'm on an airplane and nothing distracts me, or we're actually on the trip and we'll sit down with our iPads. Like, people kind of scoff at us that are on the trip because they don't really understand, but we just kind of like laugh with them. We're like, oh yeah, gotta make money to be on this trip, but they don't understand that it's one of our 3 freedoms unless we really sit down and have beers with them and start to talk about it. But like, we're fine working during our free time on the top deck of a cruise ship because we can, so, and then the other thing, actually, I just wrote about this yesterday. I had a text for free on a cruise ship. We have a hotspot that we really like, which you need, it like ends up being less than around $5 a day for all the day passes we buy. We just turn a day pass on. We don't rely on the ship's internet because it's usually not that good. And we'll just, spend the money to work and sit there in the time. So it's really having an iPad with a keyboard we really like, a hotspot, and then deciding what can we do from where we're going and what can we not do that we have to get done before we leave.
Yeah.
And then
Okay,
for you with like
$5 a day for like unlimited internet. That's very cheap. You need to share the brand.
Oh yeah, it's go on our blog. You can find it. Just Google search for hotspot on either one of our blogs. We use the Solace hotspot. It used to be Skyroom, but now it's Solace. It's like a little orange one. It works in over 130 countries. We don't lie about the product. Like, it does not work everywhere. Dan's parents live in rural Buffalo, New York, and it doesn't work at their house because you need to have really good cell service reception because it's working off of cell towers. But, for example, like we never do a roaming international cell service. We don't have kids that are like going to have to call us at any moment, in case there's an emergency. So we just go on Wi-Fi only. You can do voice calls nowadays on Wi-Fi. You can do video calls. I have Verizon. They let you do a Wi-Fi call. I've called banks from other countries if I have a problem with my credit card not working. Like when we were in Thailand, I had to call them just on my cell service. So as long as you're somewhere with a cell tower that works, the Solace hotspot is working off of the cell towers. And if you don't like the connection, you can actually ask it to find another connection working off the towers. So we don't get SIM cards or anything. Like, it takes the stress out of that. You can put up to 10 devices on it. So whereas like if you're at a resort, you can only have 2 devices, connected per room. Mm-hmm. This lets us connect. I mean, we can have up to 4 devices per person, with our iPhone, our laptop, our iPad. It just depends on the situation, I also have a camera that if I don't have my computer with me, it's Wi-Fi enabled. So I can transfer an image from my camera directly to my phone if I want to post it. So I always make sure that if I'm upgrading my camera gear, it's Wi-Fi enabled to transfer images. Anyway, that's our Solace hotspot plug.
That's nice. I definitely heard about it, but like you say, there were complaints only about like if you are in a very remote place, obviously you don't care. But then again, it's very hard to find a services that can provide that anyway. Right.
So I said, like, in this article I did yesterday about texting at sea, like, we bring the hotspot on cruises, but let's, be realistic. If you're in the middle of the ocean, even the Wi-Fi in the ship is bad. Sure. And if you're in the middle of the ocean, like, and there's no cell service, the hotspot doesn't work. So like, don't turn it on, you just have to kind of take that as it comes. But yeah, so being realistic about the working environment you're going into. That's
right. I guess it's important. I think that's what I like always advise people as well. Like look at the jobs, the tasks that you need to do, and figure out what can be done without internet. Like sometimes I would download the images first, and I will do the design like on the bus, on the plane, or something like that. So I always prep. Yeah, if I know I have a long travel trip ahead, I'll kind of prep the materials first, and then I will know that on this trip I have all the materials to do this kind of stuff offline. But it's always like when you don't have internet, it's always a good time to do writing. Because that's like the least distraction.
Do
Yeah, and
you
on the
do you use Adobe Fresco with like the pen? Do you draw a lot?
no, no, I don't. I
Oh,
don't. I think that's difficult to do on the bus because it's going to be
bumpy, yeah.
yeah. I think so far between planes, trains, and buses, I still like trains the most in terms of like to work. Planes are sometimes just too small and then too cramped. Unless of course
Yeah,
you're in
it's
the first
yeah.
class. Yeah, but buses are I almost don't work on buses just because I usually get like nausea if I keep looking at the screen for too long.
Yeah.
So for the agency side, what's important to think about if you want to take something like this on the road?
For me, it's the key to success is setting up those expectations up front. So knowing, putting that line in the sand with the clients and saying, I am not available 24 hours a day. Here's my window that I'm available. If you have questions, more than happy to answer them, and I will get back to you in X amount of time. So putting that out there right up front literally in the beginning of the working relationship. So it's, you can't go back once you've answered a couple emails at 2 a.m. like it's over. Like that's the new expectation. So set those expectations, set those guardrails up front, and then also just saying like, okay, Wednesday I am not available, or I'm only available by phone, or whatever it is, and not going back on that.
Right. So that's the setting the boundaries part we spoke about earlier, like, and you want to build it to start it off that way. I guess for this part, one of the biggest concerns for anyone that's trying to do that is obviously that they think, hey, if I do that, clients don't want to work with me. Right. I guess that's the biggest fear of anyone trying to do that. How do you get over that fear?
Ultimately, because I know the fear. I've been there, I've done that. It is knowing that you have a product or a service, or you have an offer that is truly worth something to your client. So instead of giving them the power to dictate how you spend your time or how you deliver your service, you have to turn around and be confident that what you offer is more valuable than you think it is, and being able to, or being comfortable saying no, because you know what you're delivering is worth something, and it's that value is what makes it, the value you put on it is what makes it how do I want to say this? The value you put on it is your leveraging, is the leverage you have.